Well, I didn't think it was possible, but somehow my luck actually got even crazier. As you all are well aware, I have essentially dedicated my life now to completing a floor 7 dungeon on my hard mode profile. And in today's video, you'll finally get to see the end result of that setup that has now taken me over 200 hours to create. And during this part of my journey, I got quite possibly my rarest drop yet, as hard as that might be to believe, so make sure you watch the whole video to see my reaction. And obviously, this video took a massive amount of time to create, so if you end up enjoying it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to my channel to help boost us in the YouTube algorithm. Also, literally everything in this video was streamed over on my Twitch channel, so if you'd like to be a part of all these crazy moments when they're happening live, make sure to follow me over there as well. And last but certainly not least, we actually have a sponsor for today's video. So this video is sponsored by Exter. Exter makes these beautiful and compact card holders and wallets that with the push of a button provide easy access to anything you have stored inside. And they even have their own solar trackers that with just 2 hours of sunlight will give you up to 3 months of charge. You simply slide the tracker in and connect it to an app on your phone, and just like that, your holder's location is now being tracked. So if these products sound as awesome to you as they do to me, you can check out my link down in the description below for an extra discount on top of their already ongoing sale. Thank you once again to Exter for sponsoring today's video, and without further ado, let's get started with my adventure. So immediately following the events of the last episode, I got right back on my spirit bone grind, because even though I was only 1 bone meringue away from finally being able to complete my entire set of 4, that was not going to be the end of this journey. There was still a ton of other grinds I was going to have to do before I was finally ready for a floor 7, so I didn't want to sit around and waste any time. And surprisingly, my commitment to the grind almost immediately paid off, as on my first day back to doing floor 4 runs, on run number 11 of that day, which just happened to take 4 minutes and 20 seconds as well, this happened. There was a yes! Yes! Easy clap on the 420 run. On the 420 run. Easy clap, baby. Let's go, boys. After this though, I thought I was about to be in for quite the spell of bad luck, as it wasn't until a whopping 5 days later that I finally got the second spirit bone. But the Hypixel Skyblock RNG system quickly proved me wrong, as it was only a mere 13 runs after this dry spell that I got the third spirit bone. Let's go! Let's go, dude. Let's go. Another one in the obsidian, so 1.5 million coins. I want to get one in the emerald chest, so we only have to spend 500k on it, but there we go. Which is pretty dang good luck, because in my personal experience, you really only see a spirit bone about once every 30 runs on average. It was also around this time that I finally decided to stop being lazy and start to learn some good dungeon cheeses. And the one that proved to be the biggest time save over and over again, in my opinion, was once I started using my spirit boots to cheese this trap room. Okay, now I stop them. Watch this, guys. Pro gaming moment. Boom. Yeah, you could say I'm a pro gamer. You could say it. You wouldn't be wrong. It was also around this point in my grind that I finally managed to get back to another spooky fishing event so that I could get the werewolf chestplate. Because if you guys don't remember, I think 2 episodes back, my werewolf armor set got duped over by my 3/4 shadow assassin, and I was just never able to get it back. So I had to re-grind that entire set. And to make matters even worse, since I was using this set in dungeons, I had to re-5-star every single piece, which, if you're not aware, werewolf armor costs a ridiculous amount of undead essence to 5-star. Fortunately for me, I had also been doing a ridiculous amount of floor 4 runs to get these bone meringues, so I had plenty of spare undead essence. It was a good thing that I had something else to distract myself with though, because remember how I discussed that last spirit bone giving me really good luck? Well, it went back down to the bad side, because when I finally got the 4th spirit bone, it had been 56 runs since my last one. Which might just be the biggest streak of no spirit bone that I had gone on since maybe my first or second one. So as you can imagine, when I finally got this spirit bone, I was very relieved. Yes! 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 Holy crap, dude. 56 runs later. Oh my god. Let's buy it before we get kicked from the dungeon or something. 1 spirit bone left, guys. Whew. Thank you. Oh, I honestly, I was starting to think it was never going to happen, man. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Skyblock. I was checking this, maybe Spirit Stone. And now it's time for me to give the viewers that don't regularly attend my Twitch streams a little bit of a history lesson. You see, over the absolute roller coaster of luck and emotion that occurred over the course of the first 19 Spirit Bones, I had developed a couple of weird superstitions. And one of these superstitions was that whenever I changed my Twitch title to #1 unluckiest dungeons player, I would get the most insane luck ever. And during my runs on the day after getting that 4 Spirit Bone, I wasn't very happy with the luck I was getting. So I decided to go ahead and change my title to #1 unluckiest dungeons player. And on the very next run, this mind-boggling moment occurred. All right, here we go. Titles changed, so easy luck right now. Spirit Bone #1 right here. Oh my god. All right. Spirit Bone #1 right there. And I'm telling you, I'm thinking Spirit Bone #2 right here. Oh, dang it. I told you guys, it's a title. Literally first run, I switched the title, man. All I have to do is call myself the unluckiest dungeons player. And we get lucky. Wow. That's crazy. 5 Spirit Bones, that's it. That's bone ring #4. So yeah, for something like that to happen on the very last Spirit Bone is just, it's crazy to me. But the thing that makes it like out of this world insane is the fact that it was in the Emerald chest. Which for those of you who aren't familiar with like the Spirit Bone odds or whatever, I guess, a Spirit Bone in an Emerald chest is like a 1 in 100 chance. It's insanely rare, so yeah, that just was like the icing on the cake for this. Anyways though, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I had no time to waste because there were still a lot of grinds to do. So I immediately went back to my island and crafted the final bone meringue. Boom. The final bone meringue. All 4. Look at that, dude. It feels so clean. It feels so clean. Look at that. Holy dude. Wow. And just like that, after 494 floor 4 runs, that was a mouthful, I had finally acquired all of the bone meringues I needed. I then of course reforged this bone meringue to spiritual, recommed it to mythic rarity, and 5-starred it so that it'd be better in dungeons. Of course though, as I've mentioned many times already in this video, there were still a lot of grinds to do. One of these grinds being that I still needed to get the overload books for this bone meringue. But before I got started on that, I decided to work on some non-dungeon related things that I had kind of just been procrastinating for a while. The first of these things was to craft a soul whip, which I had been saving up materials for. And the reason I wanted a soul whip was because using the soul whip to kill sorrows in the dwarven mines was a potential money-making method that my chat had mentioned to me a few times. Unfortunately, like pretty much every other attempt I make in a money-making method, this was a complete and total failure. So I very quickly moved on from that, and I guess I just have a soul whip laying around now. I also made my way over to the Spider's Den because in my time of grinding floor 4s, I had completely missed the combat update that had happened over there. And because of that, I had never gotten myself the Grandma's Wolf Pet that, since I was able to get to Legendary, could have been giving me some insane combo stats. And as I'm talking about this, it's really starting to set in how long this video has been in the making because that update is like 6 weeks old at this point. Sheesh. Anyways, with those 2 tasks now out of the way, I started the grind to get Overload 3 on the 4th bone meringue. And this ended up being a super short grind. It literally took me like an hour to get all 4 of the books, and I even got one in the gold chest, which is like crazy lucky. Okay, feather falling. Let's go! Are you kidding me? In the gold chest? Bruh, that's insanely good. That is insanely good. My time with floor 5 was only just beginning though, because it was at this point that I started my grind for the last breath. And I'm not even sure if I've ever covered the last breath in these videos before, but basically it's a bow with a very useful ability that will lower the defense of your target by, well, a lot. And the reason that I really want it is because it's especially useful on the floor 7 boss fight when you're fighting Necron, because, well, if you can lower his defense by a lot, he's gonna die a lot faster. And while I could just find someone with the last breath and bring them into my floor 7 party to do all the heavy lifting for me, I kind of feel like that'd be against the point of the hard mode series, so I was determined to get one for myself. The problem is that the last breath is a very, very rare drop, and I'm pretty sure that in my first 300 floor 5 runs, I never even saw one. But you can also get the last breath by hitting 500 total floor 5 runs in your collection. And after some thought, I decided that this would be the best way for me to get one, because along the way, I could also get some more overload books for my bone rings. It took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to hit that 500 run mark though, partially because I was only doing S runs to try and maximize the amount of overloads I was getting. But in the end, it all paid off, because along the way, towards the very, very end of the grind, quite possibly my craziest moment ever in Skyblock occurred. Oh, get back! Get back! No. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! No way! Oh my god! Guys, look at this. Can you see how much I'm shaking? Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at that. Holy dude. So, yeah, that happened. For those of you who don't know what this ice spray wand is, basically it's an RNGesus drop in dungeons, meaning that it is far below 1%, probably about 1 in 1,000 is what I've heard some people say. Maybe it's not quite that rare, I don't know. All I know is that it's super, super rare, and throughout like all the dungeon runs I've ever done, I don't even know if anyone in my party, besides myself now, has ever gotten one. And the reason I was like going crazy is because this is one of like the key items to have if I want to play floor 7 Archer. Now, I don't 100% need it, and obviously I wasn't counting on getting it because it's so insanely rare and there's no real way to grind for it. But the fact that I pulled it was just like the best feeling ever. I still just thinking about the fact that I got this thing makes me so happy, guys. So yeah, this honestly is my craziest moment in Skyblock ever. I thought nothing was ever gonna surpass like the Shadow Assassin chestplate or maybe the Baby Yeti pet drop, but honestly, this did it for me. This was mind blowing. And of course, as soon as I got out of that dungeon run, I immediately maxed out the ice spray and went into another dungeon run in order to test it. Okay, here we go. This will be a good chance. Oh my god, dude, that actually is so nice. I can't kill these guys very fast, but then I can just use it again, right? Dude, I understand now. The Voodoo Doll has nothing on this. Dude, look at that. That is so cracked. That is so cracked. Jesus. Dude, that is so nuts. Imagine that if I could use it in combination somehow with the last breath later on too. So freeze them, lower their defense. I can just like annihilate bosses. And speaking of the last breath, it wasn't too long after this that I hit my 500th floor 5 completion and was able to claim it from the collection. So, collection, boss collection, and claimed. Please, please be good. Nothing. You've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. Actually scammed. And honestly, hitting that 500th run really put into perspective for me how lucky I was to get the Shadow Assassin chestplate to drop, because if I had to do 750 runs to get that thing from the collection, I don't know if I could have ever done it. Anyways though, just like I did with the Ice Spray Wand, immediately after claiming it, I maxed out the last breath and went into another dungeon run in order to test it. So, let's get some hits in right now. So it was like 17k. Then we Ice Spray him. Hit him with a bunch of shots in the last breath. Ice Spray again if I can. No, 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 no. This is so scuffed. The lag. Okay, there we go. He's Ice Sprayed. Yeah, look at that. It literally doubled the damage. It's like, I'm doing it really scuffed because it's lagging and I'm trying to take a really good look at the damage numbers, but it definitely doubled the damage there. He went from taking 17k to 42k, you saw, wow. Yeah, so it definitely at least doubled the damage, maybe even more. But I still was not yet done getting items for my setup, and next up on my list was the death bow. And actually, the death bow might be the single most important item I ever get in this floor 7 grind. And that's because the death bow is used for damage swapping. And basically what that means is after I throw my bone rings out towards my enemy and they're on their way coming back to me, I'm supposed to be holding out my death bow so that all the damage those bone rings do on their way back is based on the stats of the death bow. And the reason that's so overpowered is because the death bow's ability is to do plus 100% damage to undead mobs. And like literally everything in dungeons is considered an undead mob for some reason. Like even the lost adventurers that are in dragon armor are considered an undead mob. The nice part about the death bow though is that I didn't have to do some crazy insane grind for it. I was just able to buy it from the dungeon shop for 5.5 million coins. Usually I could have bought it for 5 million coins, but since I purchased it when Dante was mayor, it cost me an extra 10%. This is also where all of those overloads that I had collected while trying to get to the 500 floor 5 runs finally come in handy. Because since a lot of the damage I'm going to be doing with the bone rings is going to be based on the stats of the death bow, I want to make sure I max that thing out as much as possible. So unlike my bone rings that I only got overload 3 on, I want to get overload 5, the max level on the death bow. And thankfully, over the course of those 200 floor 5 runs I did for the last breath, I was able to get just enough overload books to do that. But the one thing that I had forgotten is that in order to reforge the bow to spiritual, I was going to need a spirit stone, which is a floor 4 drop. So it was back to my favorite floor ever, floor 4, to get myself a spirit stone. Thankfully, these things aren't really that rare, and I was able to get one fairly quickly. Unfortunately, it did cost me 1.5 million coins, which is way overpriced for this thing, but I really didn't have any other option, so I purchased it and maxed out my death bow. And now that I once again had a shiny new maxed out item, it was time to test it out. Boom, 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 boom. I just want to try this. 17 mil on the way back? Oh my god. Wait, I gotta try that again. Okay, boom, 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 boom. 17.7 mil. Oh my god. That's not too, I mean, that's much better than what I was doing before, man. So yeah, the floor 7 archer setup was really starting to come together nicely, but there were just a couple more things I needed to do before it was fully ready. The first of those things was to make my return to floor 6, this time in order to get livid fragments and swarm books. The livid fragments were for my shadow assassin armor in order to give each piece a small stat boost, and the swarm books were actually for all 4 of my bone rings and my death bow, because aside from potentially soul eater, which is a floor 7 enchant that I can't get right now anyway, swarm is the best ultimate enchant to have on bows. So I proceeded to spend way too much time over the next couple of days doing normal floor 6 runs and floor 6 fragment runs to get these items. And speaking of small stat boosts, I was still missing like 50 to 60 fairy souls, so it was probably time to get those before I attempted a floor 7. And so for pure nostalgia purposes, here's a bit of a montage of me getting fairy souls set to the classic TimeDeo fairy soul music. And then, after collecting every last fairy soul that I had been missing, it was time to turn them in and get those sweet stat boosts. And I took my dedication to small stat boosts even further when I finally decided to just break down and max hot potato book my full set of shadow assassin armor, every single bone ring, and my death bow. I did already have a few hot potato books applied to some of these things, but for the most part, they really did not have many on them. So in total, I had to farm up 73 hot potato books in order to max all of these things. But just like that, I had now acquired a floor 7 archer setup worth hundreds of millions of coins. And that's it for now. My first ever floor 7 dungeon run is going to be happening very soon though. So if you want to see it go down live, make sure you're following me over on Twitch. The link to my channel is of course down in the description below. Other than that guys, I really just want to say thank you so much for all the support recently. It really means a lot to me. And yeah, I hope to see you all soon. Peace.